Hi everybody and welcome to my studio. My name is Lonna. I am an acrylic artist. Thank you so much for stopping by my studio today. I hope you're going to grab your paints and paint this really adorable fish that we're going to be doing today. Let's take a look at it. I've titled it Goldfish appropriately. He is so cute, and we are going to learn such fun techniques with this one in the background and on the fish. It's going to be such a fun project. Now with this one, I've painted it on a 12 by 12 gallery wrapped canvas, but I've also painted it on an 8 by 8 canvas panel. Look at that goldfish. He is so cute, you guys. So cute, so fun. Lots of cool stuff to learn with this one. So I hope you're going to grab your paints and paint along. We're going to be using DecoArt American Acrylic Paints. So if you're ready, let's grab our paints and supplies and let's get painting. Alright, I've got my 8 by 8 surface here. I'm going to go ahead and put my fish on here, and I think I'm going to make him off to the right a little bit here. Let me tape down my line drawing so it won't move, and I'll slide my gray graphite under here. And I'll grab a stylus and go ahead and transfer the lines to the fish on here. This is the back tail back here where we can't. This will be the fluffy stuff kind of back there. Hopefully we can paint this in to look. To look like a fish. Okay, let's see if we got most of the basic lines there. Excuse me. We don't have to really worry about the details right now. Okay, so what I want to do for the background here is create a little bit of some washy colors in the background. I think I'm going to go with this size of a paintbrush. This is a size 20. It's bigger than a 1/2 inch. So, let's see if I have a 1/2 inch. So here's a 1/2 inch brush, and this is a size 20. So it is almost a 3/4 size brush. I'm going to get it woke up, fill it up with water. And I want to put out some blues. I've got Moody Blue. I think I'll put some Moody Blue and Open Water out. I'll start with those two colors. And we'll put a little bit of some dark green out as well. I want to make the background not require a lot of work because I want us to concentrate on the fish. I do want a couple of rocks down here in the front. Okay, let's put out... I don't have a dark green out, so I'll put out some mistletoe and a little bit of lamp black so I can make that a little bit of a darker green. Palette in the shop here for you. Excuse me. Alright, I'm going to spritz my palette like I always do with some water. And I want to just start laying in some washes of color in the background. So I'm just going to thin some of this. These colors aren't incredibly different in how they look. That one's a little bit more on the green side right there. So I just want to put this all around the fish. And I'm working on a canvas panel that I have not prepped. You know, I like to really prep my canvases and get them smooth. So the only thing I did to this was take a very fine sanding pad and sand it down. I'm going to get a little bit of this other blue, so let me get some of it thinned down. I want to put some of that in here. It's a darker color. One of my favorite water blues. It's open water. So you can use whatever blues you have that are colors for water that will look good for water. I'm just going around everything with this watery paint. We're going to come in and add some green stuff in there. Go back to this lighter blue and work some more over here. That was pretty wet there, so I could break that line up. That was starting to dry. I'm just going to go right over this part of the fin right there because that's the really light color of the tail, and we'll be able to see some of the watercolor through it anyway. So now I'm just picking up whatever color I want, a little bit more water in my brush, and we've got a really pretty oceany looking water there. So now I want to take some green. I did not wash my brush, and a little bit of black in there. Make this kind of dirty green, and I want to put some of this stuff in through here. It's almost like watercolor painting here. I am not a watercolor artist, so don't quote me on a lot of that stuff, but it's just a little tapping of some stuff going on back in here, right up to our fish. And we'll bring some down through here. Try and stay off of my fish there. We'll put that there. We've got a really wet background, so just a little tippy tap tap. I think I'll put some of my lighter greens out, and we'll go ahead and add some lighter greens on top of this wet. And we can come back in and add some darker stuff back in here as well. But let's get some brighter greens. Oh, okay, that one needs to shook up. That's an old bottle. Let me get a newer bottle. Citron green. That other one's sour apple. Sour apple's pretty transparent. That one didn't get shook up too well either. I'm going to get just a little bit darker green here real quick and tap some of that in here. Now I still have a lot of water on my canvas here. And I'm just tapping using the corner of the brush there. Just this down here will be pretty dark. Still want to try and stay off of my fish. So this is going to be pretty dark through here. But because I have a lot of water, I'm still able to work these colors. I'm going to wipe off, get a little bit of water, and we'll go into this lighter green. And a little bit more paint. Might have to dry this a little bit. That's some of that. Because I have a lot of water in my paint. It's starting to pick up some of that paint just a little bit, which is okay. I kind of like that. I think it's making it look more underwatery. Okay, so there's a nice green in there. We'll go into this really bright green and we'll just put a few of this in here. More of that. Okay, that looks pretty darn cool, I think. Alright, so I'm going to wash my brush now. I want to get a little bit darker blue down here. I'm not worried about that spot I missed getting paint in there because we're going to be putting our stones in here in a second. So let me get just a little tiny bit of darker blue out. Deep midnight blue. A little bit of water in there with it. And I'm going to put this down here, kind of create a ocean floor. I'm going to wipe off and grab a little bit of that. Now I'm just going to mix the two blues together and we'll get this just a little bit darker down through here. And you have to be careful because I've used a thin layer of paint. It will lift off if we start adding too much water. Right there it kind of started lifting a little bit, so get a little bit more paint. A little bit more of that blue. Kind of blend it down, wipe off, and just scoot it around down there. We're going to have rocks here, so alright. I could go to a smaller brush as I work on my rocks. I'm going to start with a dark color for my rocks and build up from there. So I'm going to start with raw umber is what I have here. So I think I will get a little bit smaller brush. Maybe go down to that 12 that I had a while ago. I think I'll just use this angle brush I got here. Okay, so this area right here is extremely wet. So I'm going to be lifting paint as soon as I put paint into that. So let's create the look of some like big giant boulders down here under the water. With our raw umber, a little bit of water in there. I'm just going to create a couple of loose shapes here first. Okay, and then we're going to have one great ginormous one here. And it kind of fills this whole corner. So I'll just put that in there. That's with some raw umber. Kind of got those started. And actually there's another rock right back there. So let's go ahead and add that rock in here. Kind of referencing a photograph. So those are just roughed in there. I do want to make this area over here a little bit darker, so I'm going to get some of that. Ooh, I don't want that light green. I just want the two darker green, the main green well, goodness gracious, the main green and some black. Alright, we'll make it darker here, a little bit more black. I want this to be really dark. Back through here. And we can come in and make that dark. Alright, let's add some color on our fish here. And then I might dry it a little bit. I'm going to remove that little spot of green there. Okay, so let's start out with a little bit of some yellow on the fish, bright yellow. We'll start with this color. And I'm just going to put it everywhere. I'm going to thin this a little bit, but probably not as thin as I made everything else in this painting here. We're just getting all the colors roughed in. And then we're going to get it dry and we'll come back and start working on all the important stuff. I got a lot of green on it right there, so I'll try and cover that up with some orange, but it's probably not going to be too easy to cover up that green. So a little yellow first. And then we're going to get it dry. So we're roughed in with all of our colors first, so let's get this dry. Okay, I really love how the green part looks, because definitely looks pushed back, and how the color of the water there. But I want the water down here to be darker, so I'm going to take that dark blue, maybe a little bit of black in with it, really darken it up. And I'm just going to mix a little bit of that other blue in there, that open water. Alright, I'll wipe the paint out of my brush because I want to come in and smooth this out. Not worried about the rocks really, because we got to do some finishing stuff on there, but I do want to kind of smooth out here. I'll take a little bit of my other blue and try and blend it into that a little bit. Make our line not quite so hard. Darker in there. Okay, that looks better. Much better. Okay, our rocks are pretty dry, but I want to add more color on here. So with our raw umber, You can use whatever brown you want to use. Really, not going to be any right or wrong here. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the rocks, so we'll try and get them done fairly quickly so we can concentrate on our fish. Right up in all those little nooks. Now this stone ends about here. And then this one starts here. We'll put a little bit of greenery stuff down here as well. This fish could be in a fish tank. Could be anywhere. A little bit more of that raw umber out. Bring it right off the canvas there. Alright, I'm going to darken this green area right here with my green and my black. Get a nice dark green. Just come right above that rock. We get into that brown, not a big deal. And we'll add some dark. And just kind of choppily move that around and up a little bit. Maybe it'll be a little darker in here. Dark areas around the fish, kind of tuck it in. And I'm just going to kind of smooth it out a little bit. Just here and there. This is where I can kind of shape my fish a little bit, kind of give almost a little shadow behind it. Over here I'm going to go with some of that dark blue mixed with one of my other blues that I use, but it really doesn't matter which one. And we'll put a little bit of shadow stuff going on here. Just a little bit. Okay. It's looking pretty good. Pretty good for his shape, I think. Let me shape this one here. A little bit more rounded. This one's definitely pointy, so it's good. Alright, so that's just where you want to take a little bit of care and get your shapes working out really nicely. We got a little bit of shadow behind that fish, and it's super cute. Let's add some texture onto our rocks. So I want to make sure that they're dry. And we'll put out some light colors. Let's put out some driftwood and some antique gold. I think those are going to be some great colors to start with. So driftwood. And I've got myself a dry little scruffy brush. So some driftwood and some antique gold. And we'll finish up these rocks. Okay, so I'm going to use this brush, and I'm going to first go into my driftwood and load my brush up. I might tap, tap, tap a little bit back there on my paper towel, and then I'm just going to come in and add light color onto my stones. Don't cover up all your black or your dark color. We will add some black on here, give it a little bit of shading. Okay, put some here. This rock, there's actually going to be some grassy stuff in between these rocks. We'll add that in. So we'll just come in here and add some light stuff on here. Super easy. Dry brush, just tap, tap, tap a little bit. Got some in there. Probably put some white out and add some white on here as well. Not yet, but we'll have it out and ready. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more of that on here. Now your rocks can be whatever you want them to be. Okay, I'm going to remove some of that. Let me get a dry paper towel, because I want to make sure that I'm offloading on a dry paper towel, because I don't want this brush to get wet. Okay, this is antique gold, so we're going to put a little bit of this in here. And if it's too bright for you, then add a little bit of that driftwood in with it. Just put some here and there. You can come back with your brown and tap some of that in there if you lose too much of it, because I feel like that one's lost a little bit more than what I'd like. I like that gold in there. That's pretty cool. Let's go into some of our dark color before we go into any of our white. So tap that. It's going to mix a little bit with what little gold is still in my brush, so maybe right in there. It's a little darker. This will kind of help, break up and blend a little bit too, so you don't feel like you've got so much of one particular color in there. Alright, I'm going to clean off. I'm going to load with the driftwood and a little bit of white, kind of mix them together in my brush. This is going to make a light color on here. I'll have a little bit of light stuff going on there, maybe just a touch here. I'll go with some light in through here. Maybe not too much down there. You can also wash over these. I'm going to wipe out my brush and do just a little bit of white, and then we'll do a little bit of shading, and then we'll do some grassy stuff in here. A little bit of white there. The more you skim the brush across, the more, instead of just tap, tap, tapping, but you kind of scoot it across, the more fun little texture things you can create. So think about doing that. Okay, I'm going to wipe my brush out because I'm not sure if I'm going to need it or not. I'm thinking I want to tap a little bit more of that brown in there. So I'll lay that aside, but let's add some grassy stuff in here. some like leaf things coming up, and then we'll mix of that green and the black, and we'll add some leaf things. Grab some of that lighter green, some of that darker green, and then we'll just put a few of these in here. We don't know what these leaves are going to look like. We'll just make them up as we go. How's that? I don't know what they're going to be. They're just gonna be. And we'll come back with some light color on here. Okay, and you can put as many or as few leaves in here as you would like. So maybe you want some coming up here. Ooh, that's really dark. Pick up a little bit more green in there. Okay, just kind of have some fun with it. Let's put a really long one over here. What do you think? Just make this up. We don't care. A little bit more black in there. A little bit more lighter green so we can see that. And we can come back in and add. We can come in and add some lighter colors on top if you want some lighter ones on top. Come in with a little bit of lighter green. Okay, if you want some yellow in here, you could use the golden yellow or the bright yellow, either one, or mix them together, and I think the brighter one would be prettier. So I'll just put a little bit of that on here. I don't know what stuff in the ocean looks like. I mean, I've been to the ocean and gone snorkeling and all that stuff, and everything is beautiful and bright, and I love it. If I could live in the Caribbean, I certainly would. Okay, that one needs a little bit more dark green in it. Let's put it on this side. There we go. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. We can come back and add more to those if we need to. I do want to shade a little bit to separate those stones in the back here. So a little bit of my brown and a little bit of black mixed in it, not a whole lot. I'll just kind of keep this not super dark here. And if you want some little grasses growing up in between them, that would be pretty fun too. So let's add some grasses kind of. First, let me create my highlight edge here. Okay. Take this green and we can add some, it's going to have a little bit of darkness in it. You could just tap in like some mossy stuff growing in here as well. So. Alright, I think that's going to be okay. Okay, we may put some light beams coming in here, maybe hitting on those. Who knows? I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Alright, let's go to our little fishy. Okay, I didn't like the way my fish was going, so painted three coats of white paint onto it. So while it's drying, that's the last coat, I'm tapping in a mix of gold, antique gold, and bright yellow. Oh, we need some more yellow in these rocks. And I'm thinking I'm going to try and blur out some edges here. So with my green and my black, a little tiny bit black, or maybe a lot of black, I'm going to take it and put it on the top edge of this rock and try and blur it and blend it into the background a little bit there. Kind of make that edge of the rock disappear a little bit. Okay, we're going to do the same over here with some blue, so I'm going to try and get that green off of my brush. Dry it off and grab my blues here. And just a little bit of that blue, work it into that brush. Clean it off and clean it off some more. I'm going to try and blur out these edges a little bit. And just work some of that color up into the water there. Blend it out. I'm going to put some here where that green is, try and get some blue in behind that fin so I can work that fin out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit of the dark. And we're going to do the same thing down here. A little bit of, we'll do the same thing to the plants if we want, but I'm mostly wanting to get those edge of those rocks to be blurred out a little bit, and we might put a little blurry highlight on them. Alright, I'm going to clean some of that blue out and grab a little bit of white. And create a blurry little highlight on here maybe. too big for this job. A little bit of a just remove a little bit of that paint there. Try that again. It's coming onto the rock too far. That's my problem. It just needs to be on that edge. Definitely needs to cover that. Getting blue all over my white. Alright, I'm just going to leave that there. That looks better. It's a little blurred out there. Not such a harsh line. I like that much better. So I can go back in and add a little bit brighter. Maybe if I can, I'm not sure it'll show up, but we can add a little bit brighter green on this stuff. Or a lot brighter green. This is that citron green. Alright. Our brightest highlight on our plants will be white, so I'm going to go ahead and add some of that on here. These over here won't have much, just a little scooch. Matter of fact, I could darken up that whole corner there. I'm putting a wash of color in there. Get some of my raw umber out. I think that would be a good color to make a wash with. I think I can wash that brush out too. So I'm just going to make a little side load wash of it. Here, kind of darken up this edge over here, and that's going to push all that stuff down. We'll do it along the bottom edge as well. Just give it some darkening down there along the bottom. So we paint it in brighter, and then we wash over it and make that a little bit darker. Yeah, we do the same back here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like that much better, so washing over that fish is, or the rocks, putting that little bit of blue on those edges, a little bit of green on this edge, definitely Gave it that much needed depth instead of that harsh line that it had on there. Okay, so our fish, I didn't like it, as you could tell. So, painted back over it with white. So let me get my line drying out. Where did I put it? Make sure all this paint is dry before I lay my line drawing on here. And I'm going to put my lines back on here. And we'll just start our traditional floating and all that stuff in there. I think it will just be a little bit easier. So, okay, orange, orange, orange. Maybe I need to get a different orange here. Let's try some burnt orange. I don't know if I'm going to like this color or not. It might just be too dark. Alright, I've got a angle brush here, actually, before I do orange. I still want to get that out here at the tail. So I'm going to mix the white and the blue and see if I can't get a little bit of transparent stuff going on there. That looks better. Do the same thing with a little bit of green and some white up here. Okay. Sure I'm going to like that one, but we'll see. Alright, so I'm going to take my orange and side load my orange. And on the back side of these lines, I'm going to float some of this color. And just kind of very gently pity pat it out. Go along this one. Pity pat. Take this pity patting all the way up here. Kind of choppy. Go on this one. Pity pat. Bring it up into that and kind of blend it. This is going to be yellow down in here. This is kind of a darker orange, but I'm going to go with it, and we will probably, let's see, I need a sort of a little bit of a line up here. Separate that a little bit of darkness, not necessarily a line. Okay. We'll go around the eye. That eye's not shaped very good, but we'll get it shaped up. And we'll come across here with some of this. Across here and onto this eye. Just a little side load, pity pat. A little bit on here. We're going to put some yellow on this one, but we'll put just a touch of orange on it. A little bit down here, and then this leg is going to be turned somehow. So we'll work that out. Down in there. Okay, I'm going to grab some yellow. The bright yellow is what I got out here, so I'm going to use that with a tiny little bit of that orange. But I want mostly yellow. That down in here. Mostly yellow here. Tiny little bit of orange through there. And then yellow. Through there. We're going to have yellow through a little bit more of that orangey yellow across here. One more yellow. Okay, we'll go around the mouth with this. Just go even on the inside because it's too hard to go around that small area. Okay, I need some of this color out here. Teeny tiny little bit of paint on my brush here. So I'm going to grab a little bit of water so I can keep it very, very sheer. I'm going to grab a tiny little bit of brown on my brush. And right through here. Actually, I need some water. This is that raw umber. Got a little dark area right in there. Along that gill, a little bit in there. We're going to put a little bit of this here. This could be almost a purple color. So just put this very lightly in through here. Just a little bit of that raw umber. Put a little bit of orange. Get that raw umber out of my brush. Grab some orange. It needs to go up in here. I think that's all I'm going to use of that particular orange because I really want brighter orange in here. I'm going to grab a different red. Let's see if this one works. Cad red. It might not be. It's got a little orange tint to it, so it might work perfect. It might not. I don't know, but we want this on top of the head. I'm starting out with just a light layer, kind of build upon it. Let's see, red goes along here. Definitely be darkening this. Okay, around the eye. On this eye. Make that a little bit of a reddish brown right through there. Put a little bit out here. A little bit out here. We're definitely going to be adding some more orange on here. Let me dry that on the head because we want that to be much darker. Lots of red through here. Turn my brush so that the water edge is away from where I'm painting. And it will make it just a little bit lighter color down here. Okay, it's your fish. You just be as creative as you would like. I want a little bit of that brown. I'm going to make some little fins up here. So I'm going to mix the brown and the red together. And get a detail liner and do this as well. Definitely have to separate those, and we'll do the same thing down here. A little bit more brown, less red. Okay, we'll see a few of them through here on this one. And then this one. Staying up on the very tippy toe of this brush, but you can certainly go to a smaller brush. And then this one here. Very thin little lines. Just right through there. It's got a little bit of a shadow right there. And it's got some shadow in here. Okay, a little bit down here. A little bit right in here. A little, tiny little wash of this color. This is still just that brown, that raw umber. Tiniest amounts of paints on my brush, so don't let it get carried away. Up in here it's a little darker. Okay, let's put a little bit of this brown around the eye here. Bit of that red and maybe some of the brighter orange. Let's see, let's do orange flame. I'll put some of this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see that orange flame because it's so transparent. orange flame. We definitely need more red in here. Almost needs to be a darker red. You know, a dirty red. Let's mix some red and orange together and see what we get. So that's a little bit better, mixing that burnt orange and cad red together. Gives us a really pretty color. Alright, I want to put some brighter yellow in here. I'm going to mix some yellow and some white together. And we're going to make some brighter areas right here. And right through the chest here. This area right through here is mostly going to be white. Just a tiny little bit of yellow in there. Let's highlight with a little white on here. We still got to put a wash of orange on this, so some white along here. Here. Now this is turned, so it's going to have an edge right there, and we're going to bring the white all the way down to the end of it. Picked up some red there. Don't want red, just white. A little bit of light there. Light here and up here, and a little bit of yellow and white mix right along here. And we want some white here. White and yellow right through here. White and yellow here. On the top of the nose we want some of this. Or the top of the mouth, I guess I should say. Just I'm going to darken. Let's do a little bit of white and yellow out here. And across here. I need white just through here. Alright, we've got a lot of the bright color, so let's make a little wash of this orange flame. And we're going to put it in a few places. Want more orange through here. Make sure my yellows are dry first. I'm not sure this orange is going to be. Oh, maybe it will. just a little bit. Oh, got red. A little bit of this orange here. And then this one's going to be quite a bit of orange. This one's actually going to have a little bit more of the golden yellow, which is that yellow antique gold. Okay, let's see. Right through here we need a little darker color, so I'm going to use the brown and some antique gold. Tap that through there. This area, I think I want to use a little bit of red and brown. Actually, it looks kind of purple in the photo, but we're just going to go with some red in here. Red and brown. Over here, kind of carry it across so it's not such a hard little stop line right there. Go back into my brown here. And a little bit darker through there. Definitely need a little bit more yellow in here, and that yellow is so transparent. So I'll mix some white with it. We need some brighter yellow in here. Little highlight here. I'm trying to get a little highlight there, but okay, let me just wipe it off because it's just not coming together. Still not. It's like I have too much water or something. Okay, well, I have this little round brush. I'm just going to try to add some little highlights on the fins here. And not cover up my brown. I'm going to do some tapping through here. I'm going to try and create some of that texture with some white I can see on a fish. Put it in there and then tap it with my finger. I'm just using a small amount of white. Go all the way up. bit here, a little bit there. Tap, tap, tap. Right here's going to be smooth. Still have to do the mouth. Put some tap, tap, taps up here. Couple up here. Tap a highlight here, a highlight there, here a highlight, there a highlight, everywhere a highlight. It's looking more like a fish now, I'm thinking. Let me get a little bit of yellow and maybe a tiny bit of orange. And I'll paint around the mouth. Some highlight stuff going on here. It needs to be orange, but I need a little bit of white on the top of the eye. Yellow around it, I think. A little tiny bit of white out here on this one. I need to paint this other one in black. It's going to help, I think. Alright, way down deep in the mouth, we're going to put a little dot of black in burnt umber. Well, actually has to be down in here. The rest of it's going to be painted in with just some, it's not burnt umber, it's raw umber. With some raw umber. Here we're going to use a little of that. What do we use? Driftwood. We're going to put that and a little bit of, maybe mix a little antique gold in with it. A little touch of white, maybe. Okay, a little bit more orange on the mouth. A little white. I want this to kind of all, I don't want to see that line that we put on there. So, Just wiggle in some red here and there. Do need it very dark right through there, but I don't know that we're going to see that very well. A little bit of red with a little tiny bit of black right there. Okay, we need more yellow right through here. Right through here. There. Here. A little bit through here. A little bit here. Not too much yellow on this one, but I'll put a little bit more yellow through here. White edge. I'm trying to cover up all my graphite lines. I don't really want to see them, so if you can see them still. Remember, there was this one kind of rounded line there. This I want to bump out a little bit. We're going to put some more red on this. But I think he's looking like a cute little fish. Trying to get all those lines covered up. A little bit brighter through here. Right up here, we need a little highlight. Do the mouth again. Some brown. Yeah, I'll put a little black back in here. Okay, he's looking like a pretty darn cute little fish, I think. Pretty darn cute. Alright, he needs a little bit more orange on him, I think. First, let's put a little bit of yellow up here. Somehow he needs to be fatter through here. So let's see if I can remove that little line there. I'll add some yellow, maybe a little orange in there, mostly yellow. Opaque than what I want. Some white. Look at that outline there. Some little dibby dabs. Alright, I'm going to take my red, thin it down just a little bit, and add some up in here through my white spots. Fix this white that I just got red on. That's way too dark. Way too dark. There. Okay, I need to take that little orange mixture, yellow and orange, and go back around the eye. Do want a small amount of wash of that orange flame on here. And a little wash of that red. Tone down these white areas a little bit. We do want them to stay pretty bright. Little white. Well, he's a fun little fish, I think. Okay, so this is the point where you can be done with it, or you can add some rays reflecting coming in here to it. You don't have to add that, and if you don't think you're going to like it, then varnish it first, and then see if you like it. So I'm going to take my larger angle brush, probably grab some fresh white. I want to put a little dot in the eye too. So let me put a little dot. Actually, I want to line this eye just a little bit. And I'll do a little line on this one. I'll give a little reflective light there. Just a little tiny bit. And we can put some of this, add some little bitty dots around the eye. Okay, I think it looks pretty darn cute. Okay. Alright, so you can leave it just like that, or you can bring some rays, like I said, some rays coming in from the lighter edge, kind of shooting down. Let's see if I can see that with the water. There you go, kind of like that, if you want to add that. I think I might quickly varnish mine and then do that. Okay, he's good and dry. Ideally, you want to let it dry for, probably about 30 minutes. But I'm going to move on. So I'm going to load a little bit of white in my brush. I've got some water in my brush, so it's not incredibly thick paint. And we'll just start here and bring some lines in. And we'll get them a little bit bigger. Make this a really bright white up here. And then just bring some rays in there. Make them easy, make them fun. Just gliding the tip of the brush, not do quite a bit up here in the corner. And then that looks pretty good. I might call this one a done project, you guys. I feel like I need one here. A little bit darker one here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. Not have it so liney in the corner, a little more solid. Just kind of smooth it out into those lines a little bit. I think that one looks pretty darn good. Might brighten up a couple of places right where it is hitting the fish. So I'll take my round brush to do that. And we'll just grab some white paint and maybe we'll just dot in some light, get some of that moisture out. Some light hitting on the fish. Maybe right where it's hitting. Ooh, let's add some of that. We are going to add some little sparkles on here, I think. Okay, so in my little lines, I think I'm going to come in here and add a few little teeny tiny little dots in here. I feel like I still have too much moisture in my brush. Yeah, just barely tap some in there. That's so fun right there, let me tell you. Tiny, tiny, tiny little dots. Can make little bubbles in here. So much fun. That would be so incredibly fun. But I think I'm going to stop with these little dots on here. And we'll just put a few on the fish where maybe the highlight is really hitting on the fish. Super duper fun. Maybe a couple down here on the rock where it's hitting a little bit more on the rock. Okay, put a little bit of something going on out here. Maybe it's kind of hitting out there and bouncing through the water. How fun is that? Super duper duper fun. Alright. I think I might call that one a done deal, you guys. How fun. Loved how it turned out. Such a cute fish, you guys. Oh, I can't wait for you to paint it. Give me a thumbs up if you like this one. Please comment, please share, and please subscribe. It all helps me out so incredibly much, and I love bringing these videos to you. So that helps me keep going, you guys. So I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.